The long-awaited arrival of Super Saiyan Trunks and Vegeta, the debut of some powerful and some questionable units, and Broly's reign finally being challenged. Stay tuned while we uncover the month of July 2018 in today's Legends History episode. The month of July started with the second Ultra Space Time banner, featuring the long-awaited Super Saiyan Vegeta and Super Saiyan Trunks. I remember saving all of my Chrono Crystals for Trunks ever since I saw him in the tutorial mode, but unfortunately not only was he a tank, him and Vegeta were red type tanks, meaning they pretty much got clapped by Broly, who was still the most used character in PvP at the time. Red Super Saiyan Vegeta was a strength-oriented tank type unit, and from what I can remember that guy wasn't really that good, and I kind of understand why now. Like, his stats were not only low, but also at the same time didn't last long. His special move made enemies take more strike damage for 15 timer counts, his main ability reduced the cost of his strike art cards by 15 for 10 timer counts, and his unique ability gave him 20% strike damage for 20 timer counts from the start of battle. Like bro, 20% strike damage for 20 timer counts is crazy, because by the time you got his main ability out, that buff was pretty much gone. At least his green card healed him like 15% HP and cured abnormal conditions, which I guess was decent for a tank, but then his Z ability gave strike attack and defense to the red type. Like, the buff was good, but like I already said, the red type wasn't in a very good spot at the time, so yeah, you can guess that his Z ability didn't see much use at the time. Red Super Saiyan Trunks was a little bit better from what I remember, like he was a defensive unit too, but wasn't restricted to a specific art type. He just gained damage against Frieza's 4 stag units, his green card gave him blast and strike damage, his main ability gave him a special arts card, and he had one of the best abilities at the time, cover change, meaning that he had 40% damage reduction until the end of a combo and cover changing, and then also gained more damage at the same time. So yeah, that guy was not bad on paper, but for some reason he just didn't feel that strong in game. I don't know if it was because of Broly or the fact that he didn't really have like an optimal team at the time. Like the Hybrid Saiyan tag wasn't fully fleshed out yet, and with his Z ability giving blast attack to Hybrid Saiyans, he was clearly meant to be run on like a full Hybrid Saiyans team. But he was still good, just not as good as I would have hoped for. That banner also came with 2 new Android units, Android 19 and 20. They weren't anything special at the time, but they introduced the Android tag into the game with some pretty decent Z abilities, so that tag had the potential to be very good in the future. They also both had a green card that absorbed key blast attacks, which was something new and definitely cool. This banner also came with a new campaign where we could get various rewards by clearing daily missions, and one of those rewards was a free ticket, and with 7 of those tickets you could do a guaranteed sparking single on the new banner, which was insane since they gave us 14 of those tickets in total, so we were guaranteed 2 free sparking characters. But the problem is that the banner also featured Pan, which from what I remember was pretty much dead since the last PvP update, and I remember some players being very mad pulling her on their ticket summons, but that wasn't even the worst of it. I also remember those daily missions being bugged, so some players couldn't even clear them, which was definitely very frustrating. Thankfully they fixed the issue fairly quickly, a couple of days later, and it was time for the 4th Super Space Time duel, and this time it gave Z power of the red Extreme Krillin, which I guess wasn't bad, since even though I said that the red type was in a bad spot, I remember players still running a mono red team at the time, with this guy and red sparking Goku, and obviously the more stats you had, the better that team would be, since that was the whole point. Get as much stats as possible with all of those crazy monocolor Z abilities. This space-time duel also came with a new gold equipment, this time for Charlotte. It gave him base strike and blast defenses, base health and base key restore speed, so a pretty insane equip for Charlotte, like definitely very good on him. We also had a new scout battle for the yellow hero Goku, which was I guess good if you were a new player and needed a bench unit for your Saiyan team. A week later and it was time for another Legends Rising banner, themed around movie sagas, featuring 5 new units, and honestly from what I remember, they were pretty forgettable. Like I remember them being good but nothing crazy, so most players just skipped their banners waiting for something more interesting, especially since there were rumors at the time that a new Super Gogeta was on the way, and sooner than we think. Purple Sparking Turles was a range type unit, and on paper he wasn't bad. His main ability reduced the cost of his blast cards, which was very good since those blast arts cards were very expensive. Then his green card restored 10% of his own health, while also giving him 1 to 3 effects randomly: blast damage, key recovery, or vanishing gauge recovery speed. Like at best you could get all of those 3 effects at once, but you could also just end up getting the vanishing gauge recovery buff. So you can guess that this green card wasn't very consistent, and the fact that it was quite expensive, like 30 key, didn't help either. But the worst part was probably his unique ability. It only gave him an additional 10% blast damage against units from the Sun family tag. Like bro, by that point he was just a weaker purple Vegeta. But I guess since his Z ability buffed the purple color, he was still alright paired with purple Vegeta. Like you could run them together and they were actually not bad. Purple Sparking Sparking Goku was probably the best card here. He was a tank type unit, his special move, the one-hand Spirit Bomb, boosted his critical rate for 20 timer counts, which coupled with the rest of his kit was just insane. Like his green cards buffed the damage of his next blue card. And the interesting part here is that the buff stacked up to 3 times. So after 3 green cards, his next blue card had an additional 120% damage, as well as a 70% chance of fainting the enemy. And his main ability gave him a blue card while restoring his health. So his blue cards were literal nukes, bro. They did so much damage. Then his unique ability gave him 30% strike damage when he was the last battle member alive, so he could come in clutch at the end of a fight. Also, just like Turles, his Z ability buffed units of the purple color, so you could build a mono purple team with this guy, Turles, and like Red Super Saiyan Goku to cover for the yellow type. Green Sparking Cooler was probably the weakest out of the 3. He was a range type unit that held 2 strike cards, so we were already off to a bad start. Then outside of his Z ability, he didn't have any sort of blast damage. His unique ability only buffed his blue cards, but he had no way to draw one. Like sure, I guess his main ability gave him 50 ki and increased his card draw speed, but by the time his main ability was up, his unique ability buff was long gone, so that was a weird design. At least his green card was very good. It inflicted bleed to the enemy, destroyed 3 of their cards, reduced their card draw speed, and had a 20% chance of fainting them. So yeah, that green card was packed. But he didn't really have a team at the time. Like the sagas from the movie Tag wasn't fully fleshed out yet, and still needed some units to actually become a meta-relevant tag. Green Extreme Turles was literally just a worse version of the new purple Turles, and Extreme Red Vegeta was a better designed version of the Red Sparking Vegeta. Like he was a melee type unit that gained strike damage and buffs that didn't expire in 2 seconds, but his stats were lower than the Sparking Vegeta, so he was still worse than him. We also had the Scout battle for the Hero Green Frieza that day. Honestly, by that point those were just worthless. Unless Frieza was like your favorite character, or you wanted to try out like a mono green type team for fun. Another week later and they brought back the first Ultra Space Time Summon banner, but this time with 3 guaranteed Sparking multis. Like the first 3 multis on the banner gave you guaranteed Sparking tickets, and Green Piccolo and Purple Vegeta were still top tier units. So it generally wasn't a bad idea to summon on that banner. Like you had a 40% chance of pulling something good every multi. It was also time for a new Space Time duel, this time given Z power of the Extreme Yellow Trunks, who I guess was okay, but the important thing here was the new gold equip, and it was an equipment for Hybrid Saiyan units, and it gave them blast attack, base strike defense, and more crit. So kind of unfortunate that it didn't give strike damage, since I'm pretty sure Yellow Sparking Gohan was still the best Hybrid Saiyan unit in the game, followed by Red Super Saiyan Trunks, but that equip was still very good on both of them nonetheless. Actually it was good on every Hybrid Saiyan unit. They also updated the Raditz event with some new hard mode stages, and 2 new gold equipments. The first gold equip was for Hybrid Saiyan units, and it gave them base strike attack, base blast attack, and base ki recovery speed. So definitely a very good equipment. And the other equipment was for the purple type, and it gave special move damage, base blast attack, and additional damage against Piccolo. So I guess this was literally just an equipment to counter Green Piccolo. Like was he really that good that they had to make a whole equip for the purple type to do even more damage to him? That's just crazy. Like I remember him being like insane. Like he was definitely like the best tank in the game, but I just didn't realize like how good he was for him to do something like that. But yeah, you can guess that this was a very good equip for all of the purple Sparking units, like Vegeta and the new Goku and Turles. The month ended with a new Ultra Space Time banner, featuring 4 new Sparking units, who were all very good. Purple Android 17 was a tank type unit. His blue card was pretty strong. It reduced the enemy's strike defense and had a 40% chance of giving them the paralysis status effect. But the range of that blue card was pretty low, so you had to get close to the enemy before using it. So I guess it was only fair for it to be that strong. Then his main ability gave you a blue card and reduced the enemy's blast defense. So the guy was a tank that debuffed the enemies, so that was already looking good. But then he had a green card that basically gave him a barrier, nullifying enemies' attack, excluding stuff like Rising Rush and I think some special ultimate arts card. So you can guess that this was pretty broken. And if you used it close to the enemy or to block an enemy strike card, it knocked them back and you could then combo them. So this was a pretty strong green card, but it had to be balanced somehow. So its base cost was pretty high. It costed like 35 ki to use, and then that cost increased by 5 with each use, up to 50 ki. Then he had 25% blast damage when all of your team was alive, and had a cover change giving him 40% damage reduction for the duration of the combo blocked, and then gave him 20% strike damage. So that guy had a pretty loaded kit. Like he had so much, and was definitely one of the best tanks in the game, if not the best one. Like there were still debates whether this guy was better than Green Piccolo or not, but everyone pretty much agreed that they were at least on the same tier. Oh, and his Z ability also buffed the purple type. I have no idea why they buffed that type so much, but I guess we'll understand it later down the line. Yellow Android 18 was a strike type unit. Her blue card increased her ki recovery, her main ability gave her a special ultimate card, an ultimate card that actually increased the attacked enemy's substitution count by 5, so if the attacked enemy wasn't dead, he was going to get benched for a while if the enemy ever decided to switch him out. So that was good. Then her green card not only gave her strike damage, but also reduced the cost of her strike cards. So this was an insane green card to have on a melee type unit. Then she had additional ki recovery with an Android unit on her team, and 20% strike damage against a Saiyan unit, which were essentially all of the most used units in PvP at the time. So that girl was insane. A direct counter to all of the purple Saiyan units, and they literally released 2 of them that month. So she was definitely one of the best sparking units in the game. Yellow Horde Virus Goku was actually a very controversial release. Some people saw him as one of the best sparking cards in the game, and other as complete trash. I personally remember pulling him and honestly being pretty disappointed. Like, he had a unique ability that made him lose 5% of his health for each arts card used. So that guy was on borrowed time on the field. But now that I look back, he was actually a well-designed unit, you could say. He was like a high-risk, high-reward type of card, but I sucked at the game, so it only made sense for me to not like that card, because you just weren't allowed to make a mistake with him. But if you played him perfectly, he was pretty cracked. His blue and green cards buffed his damage, then his main ability could be activated after 5 timer counts. Like, this was the quickest main ability in the game, I think. Like, 5 timer counts and it was up. And then it gave him more damage, while also increasing his arts card draw speed by 1. And when you couple that with his other unique ability, that reduced the cost of all of his arts card by 10 for 20 timer counts, yeah, that guy could literally kill a unit with 1 combo straight from the start of battle if you're skilled enough. But the problem is that after 20 timer counts, that guy was literally just trash, bro. Like, he was literally useless. So for most players, he was just seen as a bad card. But yeah, I guess if you had the skills for it, that guy was definitely good. But you had to be careful. Blue Krillin was pretty good. Like, he was a blast type unit, his blue card buffed his crit rate, his main ability restored his allies' health, while also completely stopping the enemy's ki recovery for 5 timer counts. So this was pretty interesting, and could definitely come in handy in the right scenario. Then his green card was the Solar Flare, flashing the enemies and then causing them to receive more blast damage. This was like Android 17's blue card, so a pretty hard card to pull off, since you had to be close to the enemy, but as you can guess, it was a very strong green card. He then gained damage for 10 timer counts each time you switched characters, and had additional base health recovery speed with a Goku's card as a battle member. Like, the additional health recovery speed wasn't anything crazy, but at least it made it so that he had some sort of synergy with like Red Sparking Goku, who finally got like a good Krillin card, but his Z ability buffed the blue colors, so I guess they didn't really synergize that well in terms of Z abilities, but he was ironically a good bench unit for Blue Broly now that I think about it. Now, this is it for today. In the next Legends History video, we'll go over one of Legends' greatest ideas, and the series of sparking units that were clearly leading up to the anticipated release of Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. But until then, take care. Peace.